Hey guys, welcome back to the Human Condition. Um, I want to start off by saying thank you guys so much for all the support on my recent videos. You guys been leaving a lot of comments, which I really appreciate on video suggestions. So I'm definitely gonna try doing that. That being said, shout out to the one person that said a video for Harry Potter series, and so this is the one for the Harry Potter series. So I'm excited to do this one. So thank you guys again for all the support of my recent videos. I really appreciate it. And this one is what brain chemicals represent different Harry Potter characters. Not gonna lie, this one took me a little while to post because if I'm being honest, it's been a really long time since I've seen Harry Potter. But someone requested it. I was like, I don't want to make you guys wait for videos you want to see. So I was like, I gotta get this out as quick as possible. And if I don't go too in depth or a little bit inaccurate with something, I'm sorry. I can always do a revision in the future, like Harry Potter, what brain chemicals, what Harry Potter characters represent different brain chemicals, revised video in the future, which might be more accurate. So let me know how accurate this one was. Sorry if it wasn't super accurate. Let me know down below if you would want one in the future. Another one for Harry Potter, I can definitely do. But yeah, also disclaimer, I forgot to say this in my last couple videos, but as in all videos, if I say anything controversial or hurt your feelings, sorry, I take it back. But yeah, so this video is what brain chemicals represent different Harry Potter characters. I'm not gonna lie, since I haven't seen it in a while, I'm kind of just using my own memory from, I think I remember the premise pretty well, just not a ton. But basically, I think um, did some research on some stuff and tried to figure it out. So I think for Harry Potter, right? Harry himself, the wizard, would probably be the embodiment of serotonin. And this is because in the movie, if I'm not mistaken, um, he's the one that really keeps Ron and Hermione together. He keeps the group together. He's like the solid foundation, kind of like the leader, pretty calm, nice, chill, everything that basically serotonin represents. What is serotonin? Serotonin is the brain chemical that keeps all the other emotions in, not emotions, what sort of emotions? All the other brain chemicals in check. So I feel like Harry Potter can really like keep his friends calm and chill for the most part, and keep not stressed out for the most part. And for Hermione, I chose cortisol because Hermione's the one that's stressed out, that wants to achieve really good grades, is always worried about being the best wizard she can be and impressing a lot of people. And that's why I gave her cortisol, because cortisol is a stress hormone, an anxiety hormone, that's basically worried about the future, but not necessarily. It's different from norepinephrine. Norepinephrine is like the stress hormone that motivates you to take action, like right now. Cortisol is more like the stress hormone that kind of stresses you out, but helps you plan out for things in the future, be very proactive. I feel like Hermione in the series, if I'm not mistaken, is pretty strategic in what she does, and really wants to succeed very well. Could be wrong, but I think she's like if I remember correctly, back when I watched it, she was very overachieving and wanted to get good grades, and really wanted to strive for the best. Hagrid. This one wasn't that. This is the easiest one I had. Hagrid is definitely a caretaker, loving and caring, the perfect embodiment of oxytocin, which is the loving, caring hormone, the emotional hormone. We see Hagrid in the movie go to Harry's house where he's living with his step parents, I believe, or who didn't treat him well, that made him live in a basement, which is pretty brutal. But Hagrid saw Harry's potential and didn't want the world to stomp on all his potential to be the greatest wizard probably of all time. So Hagrid took Harry in, took care of him, and was almost like a father figure to Harry. I'm pretty positive. So Hagrid would be definitely a great embodiment of oxytocin. Snape. Snape is a pretty interesting character. Snape is mysterious, a loner, and kind of goes by his own book. So Norpinphrine in my previous videos, like for the Umbrella Academy, I gave 5 Norpinphrine because he's oppositional, kind of does his own thing, and stressed out, but stressed out, unlike Cortisol, which is stressed out, not as motivated, or stressed out, but more motivated for the future. Snape's more stressed out and motivated for the right now, and his own personal desires, but also the greater good. Also, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Harry Potter before. Snape in Harry Potter is secretly a part of Voldemort's team, but is working as a double agent for Dumbledore. So he would be kind of different from 5 and what was the other video? 5 in regard to not being the stereotypical Norpinphrine, because 5 does things by his own book, where Snape kinda is working for Dumbledore, not doing things on his own, but he definitely does his own agenda. Even though he's working for Dumbledore, is not just working for Dumbledore, he has his own complex, mysterious agenda, even though he's working and to help out Dumbledore. And eventually, I think he actually, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, I was looking stuff up, I think he executes Dumbledore, which is kind of brutal, but Dumbledore accepted it to gain trust for Voldemort's evil allegiance to take over the wizarding world, basically. Some other brain chemicals. Oh, another examples of cortisol from the past videos. For if you watch the AP, the Abbott Elementary, I gave Sarika cortisol because she's stressed about grades. So that kind of correlates with Hermione also stressed out about future events and grades. That's why I gave Hermione cortisol. I gave Harry serotonin because kind of like, he's very different from Marshall, obviously, from How I Met Your Mother, but Marshall keeps the group together. Even though Harry's personality is very different from Marshall, I believe he keeps, because if I'm not mistaken, Ron and Hermione kind of get into little disputes every once in a while, and I feel like Harry's the mediator that calms them down. One of the toughest ones I had to figure out was Ron, because originally, in my mind, from back in my memory, I thought Ron was like the chill, very calm, laid-back one, but he definitely is more motivated and impulsive than I thought he was in some scenarios, which made me and he's also known for being more humorous and funny. So this kind of made me conflicted, because originally I was going to give him GABA, the laid-back, chill hormone. But when it said he was really funny, endorphins are also really funny, like the embodiment of like humor and stress, and opposite of stress. So I was struggling between giving Ron GABA or endorphins. So I think I decided, it's a tough one, because in my Umbrella Academy video, I gave someone, the funny character but chill character, Klaus GABA, but I also gave the funny character endorphins, another funny character endorphins. So he can honestly be either GABA or endorphins. So I'd honestly probably give Ron, and he likes his alone time, I think, sometimes in the movie, I'm not mistaken. So, or at least showing some sort of independence, and independence is more aligned with endorphins. So since he's humorous and can be sometimes independent, I'd say that Ron is a good embodiment of endorphins. And who else are there? The final one is adrenaline. I gave this one to Voldemort, since he's very angry, very passionate, and just kind of super out of pocket. He just kind of does crazy stuff, and he wants to destroy the entire wizarding world and rule over it as like the king of the entire wizarding world, and subjugate the Muggles or the humans of Harry Potter. So this is why it's kind of funny, because I gave someone super more chill, and my other one, AP Bio, I gave like a normal chill guy that's kind of aggressive adrenaline, but Voldemort would be like the adrenaline times 10. If yeah, adrenaline times 10, because he's very different from the guy in the previous video, AP Bio. I gave adrenaline. Jack Griffin, he's a little aggressive, but not like to the extreme of like Voldemort, you know. So yeah, so that was so in conclusion, I gave Harry Potter serotonin. He's optimistic for the most part, hopeful, inspiring, leading, and probably one of the most powerful wizards, if not the most powerful wizard in Hogwarts, if I'm not mistaken. Hermione, I gave cortisol because she wants to be the best she can be, but she's always stressed out about achieving good grades and doing well, being a great wizard. Ron, I gave endorphins because he's funny. He desires to be seen differently, independent from his twin brothers. I think if I remember correctly, I could be wrong about that. He wants to be seen differently and being his own achievements. Snape, I gave norepinephrine because he likes to stay by himself, kind of likes to go by his own rules, even though he does kind of follow Dumbledore's rules to an extent. He takes those rules and makes them his own, basically. So that would be Snape. Hagrid, I gave oxytocin because he is the caretaker, very loving, very supportive emotionally, and just emotionally caring, which is pretty wholesome. And I gave Voldemort adrenaline because can be seen as pretty aggressive, pretty brutal. Honestly, if I did a psychoanalysis, not to roast anyone, but I feel like Voldemort would be there's gonna be like people that suffer with psychopathy in a positive way, but he would probably have psychopathy, like a psychopath, in the negative way. Voldemort, because the difference, this would be a good video maybe in the future. What is the difference between psychopathy and sociopath? Sociopath usually cares about the people closest to them, but not anyone else emotionally. Whereas, in my opinion, I could be wrong, whereas psychopaths just care about themselves and they use other people as pawns sometimes. But again, if you have that, like, you can overcome it and still, even though you might not be able to feel emotions as much, you can still be a better person. Voldemort's the negative version of it, and he did not overcome it and uses people as pawns, I feel like. So if I did a psychoanalysis on him, he would definitely be considered probably a psychopath, Voldemort, in my opinion. I could be wrong. But again, if someone has that condition naturally, they can still be a good person. But yeah. So yeah, I think those are all the ones I did. Harry, Hermione, Ron, Hagrid. Oh, I forgot one of the most important ones. Draco Malfoy. Draco, I think in my mind, he's very self-oriented, very impulsive. And this is why I was hesitant, because I thought about giving Ron dopamine, but I was like, nah, I got other character that embodies dopamine more. He's very impulsive. He's very self-serving, right? Self-oriented. Pretty brutal, and wants to achieve the best for himself. However, he's not quite as brutal as Voldemort, obviously. And you almost kind of feel bad for him a little bit because he was raised as a Slytherin and he never knew any better. All he knew was do what's best for you, manipulate people, and just climb to higher social ranks. And that's kind of the way he was raised, sadly, by his kind of corrupt family, if I'm not mistaken, and which is a shame. And a lot of people, I think, even though he was supposed to be a bad guy, he was like a kind of like a anti-villain, because you felt kind of bad for him. He ended up being a bad guy at the end, so villain, but anti-villain, because you almost feel like he was had no choice because he was raised that way, sort of. and a lot of people, I think he became a fan favorite. A lot of people, Draco. So yeah, he'd definitely be the embodiment of dopamine, because he's kind of like like I talked about in one of my videos before, the morally antagonistic force, or the anti-hero / anti-villain, and the person of the movie that's morally questionable. Not the worst, but definitely not the best, you know? So he has his own pros and cons, and a lot of people felt bad for him because of his family dynamics and the way he was raised. So yeah, Draco's dopamine inclusion. Draco would probably be dopamine. Ron would probably be endorphins. Harry would probably be serotonin. Hermione would probably be cortisol. Hagrid would definitely be oxytocin. And Snape would probably be norepinephrine because of his independent and motivated desire. So yeah, this is my what brain chemicals represent, what Harry Potter characters represent different brain chemicals. I hope you guys like this. I hope I wasn't too far off. I was trying to use what I remember from my own previous watching of Harry Potter, which was a while ago, and just researching up a little bit before I made this video. So I hope you guys liked this. Hope you guys thought it was pretty accurate. Shout out to the person who left the comment for Harry Potter. I don't know if I'll shout out directly, because some people are shy, but that person, like, hope you're seeing this video. Hope you liked it. I got you. Yeah. As always, thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe if you want. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.